Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Cody's Outdoor Adventure. As you may have guessed, I'm Cody. On today's episode, we'll be going over how to brush in a deer blind, and if we have enough time, we'll be checking our zero from last year on our crossbow. Alright, we're about to leave from the house, and we'll be heading to the farm shortly. Hey guys, okay, so we've chose this spot right here to put our deer blind in, and I'm going to give you the how-to, and I guess I'll explain the what for while we're going. Basically, we chose this location because there's a path that rolls along this direction. I've got 3 scrapes that are over to the right a little bit, and there's some pretty good scrapes. We'll show them here. Then it rolls on around this direction and then goes down, and then there's a creek that is right down there. And we'll go explore the property another time to show you what all we're working with. So in the meantime, we're just gonna come over here. The most important thing about putting up a deer blind is making sure your floor is clean. So you want to make sure all like dead leaves and scraps and everything is out of the way of where you're going to be sitting, and so you're not making any noise while you're in the blind itself. And then you want to get all these branches and stuff that are hanging over kind of out of the way so you can tuck this thing back in as far as possible. And we'll get to brushing it in here in just a second, and I'll explain that. Don't be taking out too much stuff around you. You just want to take out just enough to where your blind can fit back up in something or underneath something that you can actually brush it in from the front, and it'll look like all the natural surroundings that are behind you, so it blends in really well. Deer will walk by here and not even know it's there. Alright, we're not going to bore you with this part, so we're going to do a time lapse, and then we'll get back to you right afterwards. view from the inside. So we got brushed in all around the outside. We are probably need to clear out a few little spots in these windows, but other than that, everything looks really good. And then we'll go on the outside and give you a better tour. The idea of sitting back in here is try to sit back almost as far as you can so that you're not exposing yourself towards the light that's coming in your blind, and also you want to be able to wear clothing that's going to match your background. My background in here is black, so I'm going to wear dark clothing, wear a face mask, something's going to cover your face, anything that's going to be, you know, longer sleeves, and possibly gloves to cover your hands up. So you just want to be in here, be blended in as good as possible, and you want to be able to have something to stabilize yourself off of. Like I've got a shooting stick, I'll show you guys here in a minute, and I use that in order to shoot off of. But when you're shooting through these lanes, you got to keep in mind your arrow is going to be lower than where your scope is going to be. So I use a crossbow. Right now, currently, I have a Barnett Whitetail Hunter 2, and it's working really good for me. I can still shoot a regular bow, but I can't hold it back near as long as what I used to be able to. I was injured in Afghanistan in 2012, and I have been having back problems ever since. So that torquing of holding back that bow hurts my back, and I can't hold it back as long as needed. So I go ahead and use a crossbow, and it's legal here in the state of Oklahoma to do that. So right now it is hot as hell, and we need a cold front to come through. Today's the 28th, no, 29th. Today's the 29th of September. Deer season starts October 1st, so I'll be out here in the woods with you guys and bringing you the next video. So it'll be back to basics deer hunting 101 whenever we get going. Okay guys, so now that we got our deer blind set up, I was just going to check and make sure my zero's right on my scope. It's got a graduated reticle that allows me to shoot at different ranges. Basically, it's a rangefinder inside of it. Basically, I'm just checking to make sure that I remember right, and my first line is 20. I know that because I checked my yard yesterday, but I can't get any further than 20 yards in my backyard. So we're out here at the farm, and right now we're sitting at 30 yards, and we're going to see where this thing's shooting at 30. Okay, so pause the video for a second there, and we looked back through the wife's phone, and she had a picture saved where I drew out this drawing of the reticle inside here from when we first bought the crossbow and changed everything and sighted it all in the last time, and where 40 was. Now that 40 yard mark in there, and I'll insert a picture of that here in just a second. That 40 yard mark, in between the 40 yard mark and where the 50 yard mark is where the actual 40 is hitting. So I'm going to check and make sure that's still true, because I didn't screw with the elevation. Whenever we did shoot a second ago and we were shooting just to the right, it wasn't me pulling, it was really grouping really tight. The arrows were touching each other. So I just adjusted the scope to, because this is a half inch of movement at 100 yards. So you can move at a half inch per click at 100 yards. So if you're at 30 yards, basically just move your movement by, multiply by 3, because it's going to take from 30 and then 60 and then 90-ish, somewhere in there. So just to get kind of on close to where we're supposed to be, I moved it 6 clicks to the left is where I moved my arrow. And now it's shooting pretty daggum dead on. I might be able to move maybe another click or 2 to the left, and we'll see where this one ends up going. But I'm gonna go ahead and shoot one more timer here. Ew, all right. Let me try that again. I think I just went through my plastic handle. Okay, I know exactly where it is now. It's at the bottom of that circle. So, too easy. All right. So here's what it looks like inside there. Line goes across. It goes across right there. There's a pretty good sized circle. It's my 20 yard pin. Then there's another one. Underneath it, it goes about like this. It's my 30 yard pin. There's another one, goes underneath that. It's more like that. Now, the bottom of this circle is actually right here, is where my 40 yards is. Now, underneath this is just some dots, I believe. Let me look real quick. Yep. So I got 3 solid dots. Whew. Underneath here. More lines. This is a dot right here, it's solid. And there's another one. And then another one underneath it. So it looks like this underneath, and that's inside that scope, right? So now I know that right underneath this circle, right there, is where I aim for my 40 yards. And now I've got to figure out where I'm aiming for my 50 yards. So according to the picture that we took last time, it's right in this vicinity, somewhere is 50 yards. But we're gonna go ahead and double check that just to make sure. I'm not gonna have anything longer than a 50 yard shot in that blind. So I don't really feel comfortable shooting anything past that unless I'm shooting like on a tripod or something. I'm not as steady as I used to be. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to find out where that 50-yard mark is, and then that's going to be our max range is 50 yards. From another stand that I do shoot from, the edge of the property to where my stand is exactly 50 yards. So I won't shoot anything outside of that anyway. There is areas there I could shoot more, but if it comes down to that, I'm going to end up getting one of those nice little tripods instead of just this monopod that I do have. Right now I'm using the Primos, what the hell is this thing called? It's trigger stick, a Primos trigger stick. This one, I've got two of them. I've got this one, and I've got one that's a little bit shorter than this. The one I use that's shorter than this, I use it for turkey hunting and stuff like that. This one works perfect for sitting down in an actual seat versus sitting on the ground. The other one I have for turkey hunting is a lot shorter, and it's easy to stuff in a backpack or whatever when you're trucking through the woods when you're trying to go find some turkeys. When you're sitting on the ground, that one's a lot shorter because this one only gets to this height. This is as short as it goes. But you can actually stand with this one too, so you can adjust it that high. So it's just pretty tall. But this works out perfect for being in a chair and sitting in a blind like we're going to be hunting. All right, you ready? Okay, we're back here at 50 yards now, and we shall see where we hit. I'm gonna go ahead and put it right on that 50-yard pin dot first, and then we'll see where it hits from there and then make an adjustment. I'm gonna aim at that right top circle. If anything, it should hit low. I lied. I'm gonna aim in the middle just in case it does pull to the right and I need to adjust the crosshairs any. Okay, I need to go up quite a bit. Looks like about midway between those dots. Let's give it another cock and check it out. See where she hits. That was high. That was on me. $50 yards is a long ways when you're as wiggly as I am. but it's dead on where I need to be. So 50 is in between those dots. Let's mark that down so I don't forget. So 50 is dead nuts right here in the middle. Pulled. That was a little high, but I think I need to move it to the left just a touch. We're gonna go ahead and move it 2 more clicks to the left. I think we're gonna call it good. Hey guys, so today we got the blind brushed in. We got our crossbow was zeroed back in, and we confirmed that it is at where we're shooting at 20 yards, at 30 yards, at 40 yards, and at 50 yards. Basically, we're establishing our point of aim inside the scope. Now, I showed you on that piece of paper where everything was inside that scope, and that's gonna be the maximum distance that we actually shoot. We're right now leaving the farm, and we have, there's 160 acres right here to hunt on. So we also, unfortunately, have to share with a bunch of cows, and that screws up hunting sometimes, but that's the joys of having other people on the property as well. They run cows and everything else on here, and they have for years. Basically, we get everything done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you would please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and that way you guys don't miss anything. We'll see you on the next episode.